Okay, here we go. We said, ask me anything, and you have. So I'm very delighted to say that I've got Ken and Deborah and Siwan with me to answer these searching questions sent in by our brilliant viewers. So the first one is from Amelia. How do you force a knock-on? Deborah, yours.
How do you force a knock-on?
Pressure.
Okay, yeah, exactly, pressure there. So line speed in your defence, that real rush to push up, it forces the attacker to second guess what they're doing, maybe give a bad pass, or when they're catching, really think about what they're doing. You don't want to be thinking about what you're doing when you're catching a ball, you just want to do it. So pressure, line speed.
This is from Danielle Otti. It's quite a comprehensive question, shall we say. So I think you're all going to need to do a little bit of an answer to this. Can you give me a very basic run through? This is somebody who's quite new, I think, to the game. Can you give me a run through of the positions and the main aspects of the game? Loaded question, could take a long time. Let's do positions first. We'll divide it into forwards and backs, okay?
We're all forwards.
Yeah, you're all forwards.
Difficult.
So Ken, you can start with the front five.
Yeah, so the most important people on the pitch, the most intelligent people, especially a hooker, because they're the fulcrum of the pack.
Know any good ones?
No, I don't. So scrum and the line out tend to be the leaders, the piano pushers, as we say, but the two props, the hooker and the 2 second rows are key to winning you the physical battle of the game.
Okay, the rest of the forwards.
Okay, so back row, you've got to have physicality, a bit of the edge. I mean, you'll notice, Siwan, a bit maybe not quite, no, I won't say that, but just having that...
Your head in places they shouldn't be,
exactly,
basically.
that dominance, where people don't want to go, that's where the back row
And those
goes.
positions are 6, 7 and 8.
They get the reward for the work of the front five.
That's true.
That's right. And the modern flankers are kind of slightly different, perhaps, do you think? They've turned into slightly more hybrid players these days?
Ball players, you see flankers on the edge, back rows on the edge, ball players, running lines, you know, it's so important. We see differences as well, so it's not just the contact area, it's normally, for me, the back rowers get through the most work, Ken, and have
usually
the most
they usually have the most carries, don't they, in a game?
Yeah.
Okay, and then we've got 9. What can we just going to do 9 on its own? It's a special position, Deborah.
Okay. First of all, I'd say they need to be vocal.
The scrum half, obviously.
Yeah, scrum half. So they sit at the side of the scrum, they feed the ball in, they retrieve the ball at the back, and yeah, they need to rally the troops and organise the forwards, because we do the hard work, but sometimes we need some direction. So the 9 gives us that.
They're the link between, the 9s are the link between the backs and the forwards.
Absolutely.
And a very important position, and generally a nightmare.
And interesting personalities, scrum halves, don't they, tend to be?
Yeah.
Tend to be smaller because they're kind of bending down a lot, quite low, but also very protected. Other positions on the pitch tend to get a little bit envious of the protection the scrum half gets. Have to be good at passing, have to be good at kicking.
Yeah.
So a kind of all-rounder, annoyingly.
Yeah.
10. We do these 2 on their own before we get to the rest of the backs, I think, because 10, again, in that half-back combination, it's very important in terms of controlling the game.
Yeah, pulls the strings, really, connects with the 9, who's the link between the forwards and the back, pulls the strings, releases, then they're the backs, really, into space, but also big emphasis on their kicking game and be able to put your team in the right places on the field through kicking, essentially.
Okay, who wants to do the centres?
I'll go centres.
Yeah,
So
I don't know what they do.
I'm going to make it up. So the centres can give you a platform for the attack. So you've got your inside centre and your outside centre, and you can have different types. You can have playmaker centres, you can have hard running centres, but basically they create a platform where they can either chip it back to the forwards or get it out wide to the fast ones.
And people sometimes say, like, so 10 and 12s often, but not always, be playing in the same, kind of, they can interchange, can't they, quite often in a game, but not 13 so much.
No, 13s is a sort of a separate, it's a very difficult position, especially defensively. It's probably the toughest place to defend on the pitch. That's what every 13 has told me. But I think with 10 and 12, if you're trying to play 2 playmakers, they're very similar. But, some teams that are a bit more physical, they tend to have a big ball carrying 12 to cross the gain line. So it depends what sort of game plan and structure you play in.
Okay, now I'm sure this is your favourite area of the pitch, the back 3. I bet you absolutely love them, don't you?
They do so much work, don't they?
The quick ones again, the massive glory.
The finishers.
So we're talking
They do so much
11,
work.
14. 11 is the left wing, 14 is the right wing, and 15 is the full back. And often we talk about a back 3, don't we?
Yeah. So I think 15 is a key position. They generally the last line of defence. They're talking to the defensive line in front of them and organising, and I generally lead the counter attack when the ball is kicked to them. And they're a vital cog in the whole team, and they get forgotten about. I was fortunate enough to play with a couple of brilliant fullbacks over the years, and they were key to the team.
They get full view as well, don't they?
But he hasn't mentioned the wingers.
The wingers, the finishers. But yeah, it's more and more now. Defences are really good to be able to beat someone one-on-one as a winger and to get someone on the outside or use your footwork. But they are an important part.
Obviously wingers can play in kind of many different styles of play. You've still got tiny wingers in the game, haven't you? Think of someone like Darcy Graham for Scotland, who's still, one of the smaller players, but then his teammate Duan van der Merwe is the size of a number 8. So wingers again can come in all shapes and sizes.
Yeah, and again it's whatever suits your game plan. Yeah. So they've got to have speed though. Excuse me, they've got to have speed because you want that momentum that go forward. Sometimes they've got a kicking game on them as well. So again, it's that versatility. Depends what else you've got in that back line as well. I
will give wingers a little bit of credit. In the modern game, to be fair to them, they do a lot of the work that no one sees off the ball. Chasing kicks, aerial work, So I will give them a little bit of credit, just a little bit.
They do normally cover the most meters,
they do.
But
they're like this, so they need to.
Yeah. Okay, very well done. That was a tough question, very well answered. RRUFC girls ask, who do you think is going to be in the final?
England and Canada.
England, Canada.
Agree. England, Canada.
They're unified on that one. Okay. Beck says, can you explain when a player is penalised for being off their feet?
You've got to stay on your feet. So in the breakdown, you've got to hold your own body weight, essentially. You can't go off your feet, so knees to floor or putting your weight through your arms. So essentially, you've got to be in control of your own body weight and not relying on something else to keep you up.
Yeah, and that's key. If you're going to jackal, if you're going in to compete for that ball, you can't just dive over and come off your feet. You've got to hold your body weight.
Otherwise, you'll be penalised.
Yep.
Okay. Justin says, how do your commentary team prepare for the tournament? Well, you'd have to ask them. I can't answer for them, but I would say very well, comprehensively, and they're excellent. Yeah?
Thank you.
Yeah.
A lot of research.
Research.
A lot of research, yeah. But I guess these guys, like our commentary team today, working constantly around the game, and so although they're preparing for every game, they're talking about rugby a lot and watching a lot of rugby.
We're rugby noses, aren't we?
That's what they are. You said it, yeah. Jeremy says, in rugby union, when a try is scored, how is the kicking position of the subsequent conversion worked out?
Pretty straightforward. Yeah, wherever you score the try, directly in that line, you can take it as far back as you want. So if you score underneath the post, you kick directly in front of the post. If you score in the corner, you kick it from the touchline. And
because of that, what the player's trying to do is get a better angle, obviously, because it's tighter. So they're not going to do it from here because that's a tight angle. They're going to move themselves much further down the field. I think there was last year in the Calcutta Cup in the men's game, there was controversy because a kick which potentially could have won the match for Scotland was placed actually in a more difficult position, and Scotland objected, and so it's something you've got to be aware of and be smart about, haven't you, as a player? Not that any of you have ever had a go at place kicking, although that is we should say actually, and as for that other question, generally the kicker tends to be the 10, but you do get wingers who kick, and you sometimes second rows. We've had back row members in Brooke, the Scotland, the New Zealand 8 used to kick. You do get second rowers who kick, obviously.
Dana Skeldon,
exactly. So it's not always the 10s, is it? And I think if you can kick, and even if you're in the second row, it's a great asset to your team, isn't it? So,
it is.
Right, I think we're nearly done. Oh, Robert from Shevington says, what's the difference between a ruck and a maul? An area you know and love.
A ruck is generally on the floor. It's set up with a tackle, and there's, I need to know my laws now, one player from each side, I think. And over a maul is generally on your feet. It's set up normally from a line out, unless you're South Africa and you do it from open play. So yeah, that's basically the difference. The ruck is competed on the floor, the maul is competed in the air.
Very, very good. There is one more. Who will be the dark horse team to watch in this Women's Rugby World Cup? And I don't think we necessarily have to think about a team that's a dark horse to win it. A dark horse that could cause an upset maybe along the way.
So I think Japan, and I know they've got a really tough pool. They've got New Zealand and
Ireland.
Ireland. But I think there's something about them, and I think they've come in with a bit of intent, and I think they've got a good style of play, so could cause an upset.
Yeah.
No, I think Fiji have got something to say in this pool. I think a lot of people would be writing them off, and I think Fiji could be one to keep an eye out for.
Right, guys, that completes your Ask Me Anything, your first experience of Ask Me Anything. They did, and you answered. So thank you so much. That was brilliant.